Hey guys, me again with another YouTube video. Today we're going to be looking at a special mock. I guess I won't use the mouse for this. The mouse is kind of hooked up to the other computer right now, but yeah, we should be fine. But today we're going to be looking at a special mock, and it is a very, very special mock because it is the first weapon that I've done out of this series of games, and it's a very interesting, unique concept of a weapon. So without further ado, I introduce to you guys the Call of Duty Ghost Ripper SMG Assault Rifle. So the reason for this weapon being an interesting weapon is the fact that it's an assault rifle, but at the same time an SMG. And now then, that's kind of far-fetched, but at the same time not so much. The main difference between the two modes is the fire rates. Assault rifle mode, I believe, has a lower fire rate, and SMG has a higher fire rate. I could be wrong, it might be the other way around. Just correct me if I am. But that's not such a far-fetched idea. There are open bolt / closed bolt systems, especially on the SCAR heat adaptive modular rifle, the light machine gun version of the SCAR L. It has an open bolt / closed bolt heat system where basically it will detect how hot it is and then switch over to one of the other modes, and it will limit your fire rate so that your accuracy is on par. So that's what I believe is happening here, but I could be wrong. But yeah, this is a pretty interesting weapon. So as you can see, starting from here, I have it in assault rifle mode right now. Just kind of switch it over. Now then, what I kind of hate about this mock is that it seems a little squat and tall here, but kind of skinnier and more this way here. So that's something that I really wanted to do. The only thing that I really needed to fix that issue is to extend it out 2 more studs in terms of length. But unfortunately, I can't do that with the amount of limited space I have right here in the magwell part. However, the magwell does give us a perfect place to start. So here we have our 30 round curved magazine. It's got the kind of the bluish side on it. As you can see, it kind of comes down here. So I went with that effect here. And then I got the curve in place. That was really hard to do with LDD, but it worked out pretty nice, so that's good. And then this is also the first mock of mine to include a fully functional magazine catch, or magazine release. It's basically the same design as Brandon S's, so credit out to him for the mech design, because I pretty much looked at his video and came up with it. Works off the same magazine principle too, with the little lip on the top edge of it. And I did this magazine a little differently though. Instead of rocking it into place, so rocking it with the thing coming in or rocking it with the top coming in here, I went ahead and I made it so that you push straight up on it. The reason I did that is because that gave me more room inside the magwell up here, so you can push the mag up in and then lock it into place and not have to worry about it falling out at all, because your magwell is holding onto it and then your mag release is also holding onto it. As you can see, we got detail coming up off the back here. It kind of comes down right here. You got the curves coming down right here. Curves coming down right here. Got the gray piece inside. Got the gray piece inside, not on the gray circle as well. And we got the gray thing above it, which many people believe is the shell ejection port, which is true. So I believe it is the shell ejection port anyhow. So I got that piece included as well. And then got your butt pad. Butt pad. Very nice design. It's 4 studs wide at the most. Moving forward along the lower part of the receiver, we come up into our where the end of the magazine is. Magazine ends right about here. And then you have this space inside here, which is hollow, which allows for this to move back and forth. So you pretty much get the, I think if I open up the assembled version. Yeah. So anything in yellow moves. Now then, this isn't as refined as the other one, but as you can see, the mock does fold up into itself, so it closes all the way. So just some before and after shots. of the MOC coming in and out. So yeah, as you can see, it does open in and out like it normally should on the actual MOC itself. Coming around to the other side, as you can see, we have the gray part up here, though this side is a little different, and we'll get into why that is later. And then we have the little thing coming down again in the gray part and the circle. I don't know if that is on this side or not. I don't even know if this is or not, but I just went ahead and kind of made it symmetrical. This side has a different design for a reason, and again, we'll get into that later. Coming up into the upper part of the grip, as you can see, you got the curve following the magazine. And then on the side of the handle, as you can see, it kind of comes up at an angle where the gray is. So I did that with this angled wing piece. And then I kind of did some shaping along the edges here to get the grip a nice and comfortable feel to it. Speaking of the grips, this is a working trigger. Very hard to do in the amount of limited space I had. But it does work. Not that way. It goes the other way. As you can see, there's space behind it, space below it, and it's on a pivot point, so I don't know why it won't go back, but for some reason it won't, so just kind of trust me on when I say it works, and it's kind of obvious that it does. I mean, look at the space that it has. Right above it is where the second post to the front of the receiver comes back into it, so that's the issue that I kind of had with the first versions of the MOC. Because this came back over into the trigger and I needed room for it, so I had to move the trigger down one stud layer and kind of put this so that it would retract inside of it. Moving on, we got our front angled foregrip here, of course. Keep that recoil down, everyone knows that. Back here we have our orange little, I'm not really sure what it is, but it's here, so I kind of did it. It also had the kind of an angled look to it, so I used an angle piece on it myself, so you see how it kind of angles. And then we have our sling mount, I believe is what it is, but I'm not entirely sure. To be honest, this is a kind of a Call of Duty made up gun, so it's kind of not sure what the things are and what they aren't. And then you got the white kind of border around it. I tried my best with that, but sometimes it's just kind of hard to make it all it goes. Coming up off the cheek pad in the upper receiver, you have your cheek pad. Coming up off the butt pad, you have your cheek pad. Sheet pad. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk. Sorry, I just got back from school, guys. This is, like, you know, it's Tuesday. Come on. So you have your cheek pad here. You rest your cheek on it while you're aiming down the sights. Speaking of sights, we have it in assault rifle mode right now, so I got the assault rifle sights out. I didn't even bother making the iron SMG sights. I just really didn't care. As you can see, I put as much shaping I could into it, where it kind of comes up, it comes down, comes up again, and then on the side here where it locks into place, I kind of did that too right here, symmetrical on both sides, of course. Same thing with the front sight, though it's not really a front sight. I just kind of left a notch in the middle, and then I kind of did the shaping here and the shaping that comes up and down. So just so that you can take a look, it does the shaping on the side and then comes up and down, just like that. We have a full tactical rail system up on top, and it is a full one. All you got to do is close up the MOC, and then you have your full rail system again. But there's really no optical attachment for this weapon in the game, so it kind of doesn't really matter. You have your second to last pin here that folds into this part right here. It folds pretty nice, actually. And as you can see, it's got the lattice on it, and the reason it's got the lattice is because here it does have the lattice as well. It's a different type of lattice, but I went ahead and put that in there as well. And yeah, it looks pretty good. Coming down into the last of these pins that kind of hold the MOC together. As you can see, this one has the correct lattice to it, so it does, you know, go up and down, up and down. However, I did not get any of the grayness underneath it, or I kind of got some of the grayness up on top of it, but not really. And this is kind of more like a zombie or a Zazi design, where he did this. And then I took another element from Brandon S's MOC, where the two angled pieces line up with each other. And if you go back in the video to the part where everything was yellow, you see these two pieces line up. As you can see, it kind of, you know, cuts off here and here. Kind of a challenging thing to do, but a really unique thing to do with MOC, so I did that. Coming on up into the final parts of the upper receiver, you got your rail system over here, and then you got this little kind of gray thing up on the side here. I kind of don't know what that is. I don't know if it's supposed to be a laser or anything, but it's there, so I went ahead and included it. It does have the shaping with it as well, so I don't know if it's supposed to be there or not, but it's just there. I got the rail system on this side as well, and then you got the front of the upper receiver kind of angled to it, with the barrel sticking out here, and just two slope pieces to finish off that angle. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the main body. Now then, what's really unique about this gun is the fact that it has a functioning charging handle. But what's even more unique, considering this is the first Ripper on YouTube to actually include the shell ejection port as well, and it works in both modes. So even with the shortened assault rifle version, or the shortened SMG version, and the longer assault rifle version, it works for both modes. Now then, it seems kind of interesting to a lot of you, and a lot of you are probably guessing, you know, that's impossible, there's no way you could do that. But there is a way to do it. Basically, this is just a rough draft of one of my previous versions. I've eventually fixed the fact that this is sticking out the end. Basically, I have this long yellow tube that comes down here. I'll make it a different color so you guys can see it. I have this long purple tube coming down throughout the entire weapon, and it holds on to the bolt with only one of the cross axle pieces. Kind of looks like a cross in the side of it. So basically what happens is you extend out the MOC, so let's make it yellow again. When you extend out the MOC to roughly about there, the actuator is still inside the bolt, but the bolt itself can't travel in front of these pieces here that are blocking it, because this is 4 studs wide. So since this is 4 studs wide, it can't go beyond this. So as you pull on the front of this axle piece follows this. And even if it doesn't, your charging handle stays back. You can just pull on your charging handle and it will still follow the weapon. So that's how that works. And then if you push back and there's no resistance behind this bolt, then it's just going to move with it, obviously. And then you want to collapse the weapon again. You push your bolt back, and then you kind of push your charging handle back until it stops, and then you pull forward, and it should be collapsed. And that's basically how that system works. So this is the very first Ripper I've seen on YouTube to include the functioning shell ejection port as well as the charging handle. That's with the charging handle. Brandon S. had the first Ripper on YouTube to include the working charging handle, but he didn't have it connected to a shell ejection port or anything. So this is the very first one to actually include the shell ejection port that is working with it. So this MOC took over 10 hours of my time across a number of days, so 3